You feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
Damn, all these new things of StreamYard. Forgot I was looped. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between. Welcome to Sports Report Fight Night. I'm your host, Josie. As you might notice, my partner in crime is not here today. Mr. Morgan worked a 14-hour shift today. He was exhausted. So I'm super excited he's been a fan of wrestling since WrestleMania 8. He covers basketball and wrestling for ASAP Sports. I've been on the show with them, and I just felt like we clicked, and I've been trying to get him on this show since then. And with Mr. Morgan out today, I'm super excited to have the one and only pretty boy, Chris Robinson.
Wow, man, that was a hell of an introduction right there. That's that Justin Roberts, Kenny Omega introduction.
I pride myself on my introductions. Like I'm proud of myself on my introductions.
I could tell.
I want to pump people up.
Man, I was waiting on you to say North Carolina.
From North Carolina. And then Justin Roberts is like, that's my boy. As far as announcers go, like he has always been one of my favorites. It is the number one fan of Pinfall. It is Mr. KW. How you doing, sir? So yeah, Justin Roberts has always been my boy. But man, I'm super excited. So real quick, before we dive into our show, tell us a little about you. Tell us about like what got you into wrestling and all that.
Man, first of all, thank you for inviting me on. When y'all asked me to join, I was more than ecstatic to do it. Like you said, the show we did together, it was great. You have a great energy. I loved working with you, and honored to do it again. Thank you.
you have that passion for wrestling that me and Will have for wrestling. Like,
Yeah.
and it's contagious when you get around it. Like, you can just feel it.
Yes. Oh man, what got me into wrestling was just the theatrics of it. Like I said, the first event I ever watched was WrestleMania 8, 1992. I got hooked.
Chris, how old are you?
I am 35. I'm old.
Damn, I was gonna say you're not probably a year older than me. I just turned 34. So 92. Damn.
Yeah, I just turned 35. The 8th.
So you were 5 at the time?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. So one of your first core memories was WrestleMania 8.
It is. Like, yeah, man. Bret Hart, Roddy Piper. That match is always in my top 10 because that was the first match that just got me into it. I mean, seeing Bret bleed and just, wow, this is amazing. Undertaker scared the hell out of me.
Back then, the blood was so rare. Like, it very rarely happened.
Yeah, just the theatrics. And then, you know, that same event, you got Macho Man and Ric Flair, the storyline of Miss Elizabeth. So just seeing all that come together. Of course, you see Hulk Hogan's entrance at, you know, just the theatrics, the pageantry, and like
it's the pomp, it's the circumstance, the theatrics of it all. And like people that don't understand it, like, you realize that's the point. Yes, I know it's fake. 8-year-olds know it's fake.
Oh yeah,
I watch it like it's a movie. I watch it because like I don't understand why people don't understand, because it's a TV show. It's the same thing as watching Sons of Anarchy or Game of Thrones or House of Dragons. I'm following a storyline.
The only difference is those shows take you know, time off. Wrestling gets every week. Every week. Unless by some chance there was a final or something huge. Like, I think I can remember like 2 times in my lifetime that Raw did not air on Monday. I think I can remember like a basketball, like, or it was cut off because of the president was speaking. Something like that, yeah.
Something like that.
But even then, though, I mean, you know, they're still going to come back.
It's still airing. You're just not seeing it.
What was the first thing after 9/11? Vince McMahon brought everybody together, and, you know, so.
I feel you, because, like, to me, like, people ask me, what's one thing that you could talk about for hours? Wrestling. Like, easily wrestling. Like, I have such a passion for it, and I can sit there and discuss with even a non-fan of why it's amazing and how it has culturally constantly shaped our culture from the back. Other than what? NWO era in the 90s or late 90s, early 2000s hasn't really been forefront, but it's always been there. It's always there for 60 years at this point. Wrestling has always been there. But all right. Well, I'm super excited to have you, if I can't tell. So let's dive into it. We're going to dive into the news right now. So I feel like I say this every week, but it's been another crazy week in wrestling. Last week, I think, was the first time in Triple H's era that there were no debuts during the 2 shows. We come back this week, bam, Johnny Gargano. And then bam, my whole The Way storyline just shot the shit. That's been my thought. With the way they brought Loomis back. I thought they were going to bring Indy back, then reform The Way. And to me, that was the best way to make Austin Theory's briefcase cash-in seem legit.
Yeah.
But with that super kick to the face and concussion last night, I don't think that's happened. Yes, KW. And this is always where I want this to go. Like, no matter how they brought Gargano back, I wanted DIY to happen. Chris, did you watch NXT?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
yeah,
DIY, that whole one of the greatest tag teams of NXT history, probably only right behind FTR, and their matches together were some of the best matches in NXT history, especially on the tag team level. But their feud, Gargano and Ciampa's feud, was literally probably one of the best things that NXT ever did. That's never been done on the main stage. It's never been done on the main roster. I would love to see a DIY reunion to eventually lead to a DIY breakup, because I don't care that it would be the 4th time that we've seen it. Gargano and Ciampa, one, because they are truly best friends, they always have a way to make it fresh. It will never seem, it's Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Those two could feud 1,000 times and it would never get boring, because they know each other so well. They constantly know how to change that story to make it interesting to the viewers.
Yeah, I agree. Just to piggyback off of what I'm sorry, what's his name? KW7?
KW, yeah.
KW.
That's our number one fan. He's been with us for like 3 years.
Oh, that's dope. About the DIY thing. Last night, because I missed a bit of Raw and had to go back and watch it. So I saw a report that said, I
only watch clips.
I saw some report that said someone grabbed AJ, and then after that I saw that Johnny Gargano had returned. So I was thinking that, that must have been
Loomis.
Well, no, I was thinking it was Johnny Gargano who grabbed him, and bring him back, either DIY or he teamed up with Loomis to go along with what you were saying. That was my thought process. And then later I saw he just comes out, no fanfare, no nothing, just
nothing.
Like Johnny Wrestling.
All of a sudden his music hits.
I wasn't mad, but
nothing. Just all of a sudden Gargano on the screen. I'm like, what the fuck? And then Theory comes out and they did that whole segment. But I'm telling you, when he dropped him with that super kick, I was shocked. I was not expecting that. I'm guessing they're going to go with babyface Gargano at this point with that kick, because we all know Theory is he's a weird heel, but he is a heel. And Jesus, that's like Theory's 7th feud he's in right now. That's like him and AJ, him and who's he feuding right now? Like Maine.
Ziggler. Is that
Ziggler?
Is that over?
That's the one I'm trying to think of. And it just seems like he's in it with everybody, because also with the case, he's just a step away from the main event picture at this point.
He's gonna fail his cash in unless they. I don't know if they're gonna take it off of him. It's almost at this point you kind of have to, because he's not credible enough to keep it.
That was always my thought, and when the whole Ziggler popped up, that was kind of where I thought they were going with it. But then everything changed when Vince stepped away. It's hard for me to know where things are going now, because Triple H is changing storylines mid-storyline, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, because it's not. It's a great thing. But like I said, and you probably do this too, I would say probably 80 to 90% of the time, I can tell where a match is going. I can probably guess the winner. I can even, most of the time, kind of foresee a storyline most of the time. And Vince was real easy with that, because we all know Vince did the same shit over and over and over again. And it was like, it wasn't even a chore. But with Triple H, even with NXT, it wasn't always easy to know where he was going. Early AEW used to do the same thing. Tony Khan hasn't been doing as much anymore. I feel like he's kind of fallen into a little bit of a pattern with his booking. But Triple H is you're going this way, and then is off this way. And then you're back here, and then you're over here. And it's hard to know where he's going with his booking. And like I said, I had fully thought the way he's returning, and that's how Theory is going to get a legit title reign. But now that doesn't seem like possible.
You brought Loomis back, so yeah, it would have been perfect just to do that. But
it made sense to me because they were always the family. I didn't feel like the way really got its push because then Triple H left. Like they never really got to hold titles as a group. I wasn't a fan, but again, like that's kind of the point because they were a heel group. But all right. So that's Gargano's return. Just to talk about this, Triple H is doing great. I'm excited I'm actually probably going to watch Clash at the Castle. It'll be the first like non-WrestleMania SummerSlam Royal Rumble pay-per-view I've probably watched in 3 or 4 years.
Really?
I could not stand WWE product under Vince. I just couldn't. Like, I still kept up with it. I read all the everything that was going on. I knew most of the storylines, but like, it was just so corny, so predictable. They always went with the stupid direction with storylines instead of the interesting direction with storylines. Like, I always felt, and it was all, don't get me wrong, we've had this conversation on this show many times about there's a place for all styles of wrestling. Comedy, deathmatch, it doesn't matter. All styles of wrestling work. I felt like at times, though, the late WWE product was just bullshit comedy wrestling. And it wasn't even good comedy wrestling. It was like child comedy wrestling. And I just couldn't get into it. I, for a long time, was just an AEW guy. But for the past 2 weeks, I've missed Raw and actually been upset about missing Raw. So
yeah, I can see why.
Another return we got to talk about this past week. I think everybody knew it was going to happen, but Trios Tournament, Young Bucks, secret partner was the one and only Kenny Omega. Something I want to bring up to people that I don't feel like I have seen anywhere. Did anybody notice what tunnels they came out of?
The face tunnels.
Yes! I can't believe that hasn't. I thought more people would be talking about that this week.
Yeah. Well, I guess the Young Bucks kind of turned.
He still had Callis with him, and
that
came
was
out
the
of
part.
the face tunnel.
Yeah. I know the Young Bucks turned when Adam Cole jumped him, so I get that part. But like you said, having Callis come out with it, and he really didn't heal it up on commentary as much as I thought he would.
No, he didn't. He baby faced it up on commentary. Yeah. He talked them up, but like the opponents, he wasn't shitting on them like he normally would have. He wasn't near as annoying at the commentary desk as he had been. And I don't know. Omega looked good. Definitely looked winded. You could tell he had not been in the ring in a while. Which, again, we've talked about this before on this show, but there's nothing like you can do all the cardio and all the workouts in the world, but being in that ring, there's no workout like being in that ring. And until you're in the ring again, that's why I think Punk took so long to get back to Punk. Was because 7 years off, even if you're still in great shape, yes, he was doing UFC. He was obviously still in great shape, but it is a difference until you're running those ropes, taking the bumps, especially the style with Omega.
Oh yeah, definitely. You can see like just at little times, little things like his pop-up move, after he does the fireman's carry, he'll get back into it.
I'm sure he's at that level, like Brian was saying a couple of weeks ago. They're just at that level where they're never going to be 100%.
Yes.
Never. They've been doing this for 18 years. Their bodies are beat. The body is not meant to take. Again, you can talk about it being fake all the time, but they're still taking. I want you to stand up right now and jump backwards onto your bed and land flat backed, and then do that on the ground.
Right.
Tell me that doesn't hurt. It's gonna hurt. And then do that for 20 years.
They know how to fall. Yeah, but it's still gonna hurt.
It's still gonna hurt. Yes, they do know how to fall, and you're right. That's 100% what it is they learn how to square out these shoulders and land flat back as best you can. But the ribs, the spine, the shoulders, all those still will ding up just like any other part of the body. So it's going to bruise, it's going to hurt. And then I'm sorry, the ropes are metal wrapped in tape. They're not ropes. They're metal ropes, metal wire wrapped around the ring, wrapped in tape. So bumping off of those and bouncing off of those like they are ropes is not fun. I'd like to see them front flip a whole ladder 10 times and say that's fake. I've taken a swanton off a 20-foot ladder. Like, it doesn't feel good. It don't feel good. Even on the trampoline, it still don't feel good.
Oof. I've taken some in-ring bumps before, but yeah, and no, it hurts.
Yeah, it's like then the mat under, it's just plywood, guys. It's not anything special. It's plywood. So, but Omega returned. Great match, honestly. Amazing match between shit. What is his name?
Dragon Lee, Roosh, and Andrade.
I could not think of his name. And then the end, another face move when they took the mask off of Dragon Lee, the Bucks in there. Like, it's obvious that the Elite is face again. Also, that makes sense because we know that as soon as they're healthy, we are getting the undisputed Elite versus the Elite.
Oh yeah,
like
that's coming.
It's going to happen. Moving on in AEW, I've got to talk about it. Punk officially returned this past week. Called out Mox. Those fucking promos, Chris. They were so good.
Man, oh, wow. Like, just everything he said. You were the third best member in your group. You're not used to, I mean, I know you're not used to, like, just
he
throwback to everything he said.
He says that about Moxley, and then he says, Kingston's the third best Eddie I've been in the ring with. The second best Kingston I've shared a locker room with. And I went back and rewatched. I had missed the parts that he said about Hangman, and I guess there might be some actual true backstage heat.
Yeah. Apparently Hangman went off, their first time around. He said some things Punk didn't really agree with, so that's why he brought it up this time, because that was not part of anything.
That's interesting to me. Now, do you listen to the AEW Unrestricted podcast?
Mm-mm.
So I listened to it this past week, and it was just Shivani and Aubrey, and they talked about Shivani's promotion. He's basically taking over what JR did for WWE for so long. He's talent relations. And it sounds like he's pretty hands-on. So I'm sure if there's any kind of backstage riff, they'll be fixed. To me, though, that Punk promo, and then Mox come out and it's like, oh no, Punk's dropping pipe bombs. And then one thing I love about AEW is it really does feel like some of these people just really do hate each other. It doesn't feel fake. With Kingston, his thing, did you see what he said this past week on how working with Jericho the last few months has been so hard because he hates Jericho?
Any Kingston promo is like right there. That's the guy who is like, somebody told this guy this stuff is scripted. Like, he goes so real. It's, oh my God. I love listening to that man talk.
I love Eddie Kingston. From the moment I saw him in Impact with LAX, I was just like, why isn't this guy on like major television? I get it now. He's not the type of guy who's usually gonna be like. AEW took a risk with him and it paid off because he's hugely over with the fans. But also he's not a WWE guy. He's never would have worked in WWE even under Triple H now. I still don't see that working. He's just not that type. But you're right. He's probably I would say top 5 promo artist of all time, which is that's a
hard one there. I mean,
that's a hard one. I may be off. He's definitely top 10, easily top 10. And the only reason that's hard is because you get into guys like Macho Man and Flair and
Rock
and Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
And just like the list goes on and on and on. And even Cena was a good promo artist.
I would say Eddie can make you feel more than some of those other guys, though.
Oh yeah.
Like The Rock is just entertaining, but Eddie will like have you like mad at your boss. I mean,
Eddie, when you watch Eddie, is like you feel like you're watching you or someone you know. It's very relatable. Unlike The Rock, it was like, oh my God, he's larger than life. Eddie is like, I could share a beer with this dude.
Yeah, like Ric Flair, you're in a limousine. Eddie's getting a cab with you.
Eddie's like, did you call the Uber? But no, and then I think they played that so well this past week on Dynamite. They started off with Punk and Moxley. Moxley comes back out, calls Punk out again. It blew me away when they announced that they were going to do the title unification match on Dynamite this week.
That is crazy. Oh, I'm just back up for 1 second, though. Did you hear the pop Claudio got when he lifted up? Man.
I did. And I was like, do you think that was planned? Because the way he lifted Mox like he was a child. And Mox is not a small dude
at all. Claudio's a freaking nature, man.
Yeah,
he doesn't look as strong as he is.
I love Claudio. We were talking about this last week. Will doesn't think he'll ever be like a major champion in AEW, like hold their title. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I love him. I think he's super charismatic. I'm super excited. I'm hoping Tony does something with ROH soon, because I don't like just seeing them as an undercard for AEW.
Right.
They just deserve more respect than that.
I agree with you. But as far as like the announcement for next week, it was very shocking. Like you said, it came out of nowhere. And it was just like a throwaway segment, kind of, Oh, next week, the unification match.
Yeah, they said it. And I didn't even catch the original announcement. I caught the repeat announcement. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. At first, I thought it was just like when I saw it the first time, I was like, oh, they're doing another face-to-face. No, that's for the title. What the hell?
Do you feel there's reasoning behind this? And in that reasoning, 3 words, MJF. You give up what was obviously going to be your main event of all.
And in all honesty, that was AEW's biggest main event ever. Well, I mean, I know they've had some great matches, but that would have been their biggest main event. You got the 2 titles, those 2 guys. So they have to be planning something major. And what is more major right now than MJF?
The man we have heard nothing.
Exactly.
Absolutely nothing from since his pipe bomb promo. Like, I have actually missed MJF pissing me off each week.
Him and that damn Burberry scar.
One of those guys, again, like, he's such an amazing heel. And he's so rare in this industry anymore for those guys who live their gimmick all the time. It's him, it's Orange Cassidy, it's Danhausen. There's very few others that are constantly in gimmick all the time.
Yep. Which is one thing that AEW does. I never thought about that. But yeah, like a lot of their guys are their gimmicks.
They do. They have, I was thinking about that this week. They have quite a few guys that live the gimmick, which I kind of like that because I get it. We're never going to get back to the days of kayfabe of like the 80s, early 90s because of this right here, because of the internet. It's never going to happen. these guys have lives. They're not there in character all the time. We're never going to see probably a guy like Taker who lived that gimmick for 20 years again. Also, that also has to do with the attention spans of people now. Like, I already see it at some point. Orange Cassidy is going to totally flip characters and just be like this amazing athlete in the ring. Like, that's the only way his character could switch. But don't get me wrong. I love the Cassidy character. I love the nonchalantness of that character. But,
and then when he does go, he can go. And I hate people don't realize that. Like, the talent that he has to pull that gimmick off.
That right there is the thing. That right there is the talent it takes to pull off this. I don't care.
And then at the drop of a hat, switch it up, and he's doing the cartwheel, not cartwheel,
bouncing off the rope, hitting the orange punch, and just like. And I'm sorry, he does the same move as Roman Reigns and throws it with more charisma
which
than
is
Roman
so
Reigns
crazy.
Ever did.
It is actually a believable finisher for him, and it's not for Roman for some reason.
Like, and Roman is twice Orange's size. It should be a believable finisher for Roman. And let me step back, because when he was in the Shield and it was first coming out and he was like hitting it, like running down the ring, it was believable. Now the way he hits it, it's not as believable.
You know what? Maybe when it first happened, I used to love when he would cock it, but now that he does it every single time before he does it, that just hurts. Like, if he does it 4 times in a match, he's going to do it every time. Like, okay. Stop.
And that goes back to something we could dive into for hours, and that's finishers not being protected enough.
True.
And I mean, we see it, and I'm kind of sad Will's not here, because you don't like the Young Bucks either, do you?
I do not like the Young Bucks. No.
All right, so here we go. The Young Bucks have killed the super kick, absolutely destroyed it. It is no longer a legitimate finisher for anybody but them.
And it's not even our finisher.
I mean, it's not, because they have the Meltzer driver, and
like when Dolph Ziggler throws it and it ends a match, it's like, that shouldn't have happened.
And what blows me away is because when we were watching as kids in HBK through the super kick, you're like, oh man. Are they going to kick out? I mean, it's like a 75% chance that he's not going to kick out. Because when HBK, especially, like, we all have it linked to that final kick to Ric Flair in that match. And just, I love you. I'm sorry. Smack. And
mine, the one I always think of is that Shelton Benjamin one. When he leaps across the ring.
And he caught him like halfway in the ring. Yes. But that's the way that Sean could throw it. Sean could throw the super kick at any moment and even if he hadn't practiced it with someone, make it look perfect. Mm-hmm. Like that kick, like Shelton. And I think he did that once with Kofi or something similar with Kofi too. And he could always time that perfectly. And the Bucks and the people who throw it now, they throw it too much. And like, KW, yes. That was it's such an amazing finisher. I love that move. I'm hoping when Corbin comes back, he's the lone wolf again. Really, I do. I hated it, but I have hated everything else he'd done more. I hated the lone wolf because he was a heel and you're supposed to hate it. I hated everything else because it was stupid. Am I wrong?
I agree with that. You know what really made me mad about End of Days, though? Drew kicked out at WrestleMania 38. Never brought up, or it was not a moment. The only person kicked out that finisher.
Only person that has ever kicked out of the End of Days.
Not mentioned at all. like the commentators didn't react any. Fans don't really talk about it. It's like that was supposed to be a bigger moment than that.
That's my problem with. I think both companies, actually, all companies. I would say even Impact has this. There's little things that I don't feel like companies hone in on as much anymore. That right there, when a finisher has been extremely dominant, AEW is a little bit better. They have their couple of people that they will say, "Oh yeah, that finisher's never been kicked." Oh, Kenny.
Oh yeah, one-winged angel.
No one's ever kicked out of the one-winged angel, but also Kenny protects the fuck out of that move.
Yep.
That's why Will Ospreay pulled that stunt he pulled a couple of weeks ago, where he pulled it and then made the guy kick out.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that match. Give me that match.
So I know this is completely off subject, but just
we do that all the time on
the
this
one-winged angel. For the longest, and I always thought Cody Rhodes was going to book himself to kick out of it.
You thought he was going to be the one to kick out?
I thought he was going to book himself to do it.
I could have seen it. I could have seen him booking himself.
He was going to do it. So now I have no idea who's going to kick out of it.
If I'm Kenny, no one. If I'm Kenny, you don't, unless at some point it just makes perfect sense for a storyline.
Yeah.
Don't ever let it. Retire with that move, never having anyone kicked out of it. Because it's never been done. There's never been a wrestler that could say, even if he gave up one or two, he'd still be in a very elite list of people.
Yeah. Because honestly, I thought the storyline was going to be Paige did it, which I'm glad they didn't go with, because I didn't want Paige to do it.
Hangman doesn't have that oomph to
right.
I think that's part of why his run wasn't as great as we all would have liked. And
his finisher's trash to me. Just because
I like the lariat. I
like a lariat as a finisher. Like Bradshaw's was great. But the thing with me on Hangman's is the flip does nothing. It looks cool. It does cool, absolutely nothing.
And I get he's trying to sell it as it gives him more power, but you're right. It
does absolutely nothing because he lands on his feet, then does it. Like if he could do it all in one motion, a little smoother,
which is impossible with the laws of physics. But yeah, I do like it. You're right. I like it because it's cool looking. Also, though, it's a move that's easily scouted because he has to be on the apron to pull it.
Yes. Like, I like the dad a hell of a lot more. Like that backwards tombstone thing he does.
Yeah, I think that's I think he needs to make the lariat more of a protected finisher. Like when it makes sense, when he's there, when it's the perfect timing, and start using the Deadeye more. I would agree with that. What do you think next for Paige? He's not going to be in this trios tournament. Dark Order's taking that spot. He's been kind of just floundering since he lost the title. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's not teaming up, but he's cheering on a Dark Order in a trios tournament. I really don't see anybody feuding with him. I really don't know. I'm trying to think, like, there's no heels that's not doing anything right now because Jericho's from what I have heard, Jericho's going to end up. It's going to be Jericho versus Danielson at All Out. Yeah. So, yeah, I can see that coming.
Because yes, please.
Because the Garcia situation.
Well, and I'm pretty sure Garcia turns and joins Blackpool Combat Club this week, which makes sense for me. Like Garcia is the only person in the Jericho Appreciation Society that never made sense to me. Daddy Magic, the other dude, Sammy, Jake Hager, Ty Conti, even Anna Jay, all of those make sense.
I hate Anna Jay with this stupid chokeout thing. No, like, what are you doing?
But they all seem like sports entertainers to me. Daniel Garcia is a motherfucking wrestler. And that match, that 2 out of 3 falls match, I mean, there's matches this year that definitely beat it for match of the year, but it could definitely be a candidate.
Yes.
Definitely in the top 5 of matches of the year. It was so good. This is what I love too. They told such an amazing story in that match with him getting the first fall and have already had a victory over Dan. Yeah, such a great story. So that kind of the last thing news-wise I wanted to talk about. Did you hear that Jeff Jarrett left WWE last week?
Yes, I did.
He left his role.
Yes,
so Road Dogg was officially rehired and put back into the position.
So DX is really running WWE right now.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, I'm not really sure why Tony would, other than the fact that Road Dogg kind of likes trashing AEW and then wants to wonder why Tony Khan wasn't offering him a job. But then again, I do feel like as long as you keep Road Dogg out of creative, do not let the motherfucker touch anything in creative. He does have a lot of wrestling knowledge. He has a high wrestling IQ. He knows tag team wrestling really well.
Yeah.
And he could have been a good ad for AEW as a coach or something. But then again, I think he does well under Triple H.
Yeah. I don't know anything. I haven't heard anything, but do you think that if he really wanted to be there, Billy Gunn could have, if he really wanted him there, Billy Gunn could have done something to get him there?
That was always my thought too. Like if he really wanted it, Billy could have probably got him there. They're together almost every weekend doing a convention or talk or something. And so that was why I was like, when Road Dogg said that, I was like, your best friend is there. If you wanted to be there, I'm sure you could be.
Yeah. So it was something about this where it just never really added up to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he came across as too cocky or something, but because I can see that.
He also caught a lot of the blame for the crappiness of NXT towards the end.
That's what I was going to say. And then Tony was probably like, hell, we just beat you. I don't need you.
He's the one who caught a lot of that as far as being let go and still, because as much as HBK says it was me, you still have a job. All right, real quick before we get out of here, I did want to talk about one more thing, and that was kind of our main topic for this week. It's a main topic on this show a lot because the wrestling community is I swear to God, the most toxic fucking fan base in the world. And
easily.
I'll have this discussion with people who aren't in the wrestling community and be like, oh no, I bet you the World of Warcraft or the Star Wars they're all worse. I was like, I'm in some of those fandoms and I promise you they're not. I promise you not. The wrestling fandom is the only fandom that will tear you apart, tear you down personally just because you don't like a wrestler they like or do like a wrestler they think is lame. Or
so true.
Let's even get into the fact of, did you see the Effie John Moxley kiss?
Yes.
Okay. What was your initial thought when you saw it?
I know you're not a fan. I heard Jim Cornette talk about it.
God. Oh, God.
So you already know how it was if Cornette's talking about this situation. So I went back and looked, and it's like, of course, Cornette made this 1,000 times worse than what it really was. Okay, we're used to seeing a hockey fight, so they kind of did hockey kiss.
Exactly.
Like, okay. It was a fun moment. I didn't care for the guy, putting his hands on his pants, just because I was never a fan of Joey Ryan doing that kind of stuff either. Just just penis stuff. That's always kind of,
that gets a little bit.
Yeah. But I got the joke too, hey, I'm being choked out. I'll choke myself out too. Okay, it's a comedy spot. That's all it's for. So, I mean, am I going to sit there and burn a Moxley t-shirt and want him fired? No.
And are we really going to pretend? Are we really going to pretend that I saw a clip and I cannot remember who it was. It was a guy I follow on TikTok said, I think it was John Cena kissed someone at some point. I can't remember it.
Oh, well, yeah. Look, there's a Brock and Kurt. They kissed.
Brock and Kurt. That's one. I mean, well, and are we really going to act like Billy and Chuck wasn't a thing? Are we really going to act like there wasn't an entire storyline around a tag team that ended up as gay lovers? And we're going to shit over 2022 over a quick kiss in the ring in a storyline?
Let's not forget Goldust. I mean, he was taking advantage of men passed out.
I mean, and that's my first. And you mentioned one of the worst culprits, one of the most people that makes this community the most toxic is that motherfucker, and that's why I can't stand him.
Cornette.
Because Cornette, I can't stand him because I just racist, homophobic, transphobic, and he's just like Vince. He's stuck in the 80s and 90s of wrestling and just feels like it always needs to stay there and just refuses to see the last 20 years and how much it's evolved and changed. And it's not what you want it to be. I'm sorry. You're not god of wrestling.
Like, some of his stuff I agree with. Like some of his wrestling viewpoints, just, well, I guess the way he talks, I kind of not like his viewpoints on what you said, like the list of the phobias. Miss me with all that. But, he'll be like, okay, well, this should have done this. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But my thing on Cornette that, like, really made me just kind of go with what you were saying, like you're stuck in the 80s. Do you remember when the Sonya Deville incident happened when that guy broke into her house?
Mm-hmm.
He was like saying, oh, that's pretty bad, but Sonya and Mandy are feuding. They should have been fine for being together. What the hell? This lady just almost died by some crazy stalker, and you're worried about them hanging out in kayfabe? No, that is not how this works.
Like that's the thing. That right there tells me how stuck in the past he is.
Yes.
We don't live in a time like that anymore. And also, had that not been an incident, it would have never been known that they were together.
Right.
Had the stalker not tried to kill Sonya, it would have never been known that they were together. It's stupid comments like that. And it's also the way he personally attacks people. Like Nyla Rose and Sonny Kiss. And here's one that he just wants to hate on Moxley because he just doesn't like Moxley's style of wrestling. Yeah. And I get it. The Moxley style is not for everybody, but it obviously is for some people. I'm a fan. Have been for a very long time. And also, like we were saying earlier, as much as he wants to shit on the death match and everything else, they all have a place and they all can work in certain situations. That's
right. Yeah, I agree. Like I'm never gonna go to a CZW event or anything, but
you gave me the opportunity, I'd probably go just to say I've been there. I might go to a CZW. Where I probably wouldn't end up was Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
Oh, God.
Like, I don't know if you ever catch me in a crowd for that.
But, like I said, it's not for everybody. But, I'm never going to knock anybody else's point of view on wrestling just because, like, that should be the beauty of wrestling. Everything's so different. We should all be able to come together about it.
I think that's why Game Changer, GCW, is having such an uprise lately. Is because they're willing to do the death match. They're willing to do the comedy match. They're willing to do the serious match. They're willing to put their belt on Matt Cardona. And I would love to go to a GCW show. I would, because I like Nick Gage. I think for what he does and the genre of match that he puts on, he is definitely one of the best to do it.
Yeah.
I would love to see Mick Foley, Nick Gage. Like, that would blow my mind.
Would die. Somebody would just die. Like, there's nothing else to do.
Or give me one better. Terry Funk, Mick Foley, and Nick Gage.
Oh, man. If New Jack was still around, oh my God.
There's the best fatal 4-way ever.
There's so much blood.
Booking of the night, folks. The bloodiest match in history. New Jack, Nick Gage.
Funk and Foley. Oh my God.
Damn. Just any rotation of those as a 1v1 would be amazing. But all 4 of those guys in a ring in their prime, oh my God. It'd be one of the brutalest matches in history.
Oh man. But yeah, just like what you said though, I don't like the personal thing on it though. Like if Omega's not your type of wrestler, that's fine. But I'm not gonna hate on Tyson Smith the person. Like that's not okay.
Exactly. And that's my thing is I just don't understand why we all, and it's also, I'm an AEW fan. I have referred to myself as a fanboy because there at the beginning, I was diehard. It was great. I loved it. Has it kind of waned here and there lately? Yes. But I am a wrestling fan.
Yes, that's what I am.
Good wrestling. That's why lately I've actually been upset about not being able to watch Raw and SmackDown because they've been putting on good shows.
You haven't missed much on SmackDown lately.
That's all I want is interesting wrestling. I have Impact Ultimate Insider on YouTube. I watch Impact every week, and I'm sorry, people can fight me, but right now the best product is Impact Wrestling. The only reason that people don't know it is because they are stuck on Access TV. But they are have been putting out some of the best product for the last year or two.
I was like, yeah, for a while. Like, I was saying,
we talked about this last week, Chris. Since Scott D'Amore took over, they have been doing the right things. And he wears that gauntlet because he's the only one motherfucker who's worked with every company. Every company.
Yeah. Who is it? Was Josh Alexander? He's not putting on a bad match.
Man, he's killing it as their champion. Did you see the him versus Alex Shelley at Emergence? Did you see that match?
No, I didn't.
Oh, dude. Alex Shelley's first ever championship attempt for Impact. Such a good match. They put on a banger of a match. And I love Shelley. I think Shelley is a super underrated wrestler.
Both guns are.
Oh, agreed. Chris Sabin, easily one of the most underrated wrestlers of our generation. Yeah. Like, Chris Sabin could have been a WWE star. And the fact that he's never had any time in WWE is a fucking travesty. And especially now where he's towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
No, the machine guns are great. And now we're getting this week, we're going to get the time machines. Shelley, Sabin, and Shelley's other partner, Time Splitters. They did a thing in NXT. What is his name? He just left NXT.
Is it Nash?
No. He signed with New Japan. He's a New Japan wrestler. God, this is going to kill me when I figure it out. Kushida.
So
Kushida is also working with Impact. Him and Sabin teamed up during Emergence while Shelley was for the championship. So now this week we're getting VBD, which is Doherty, Eric Young, and the other dude that I can also never remember his name. And then Time Machine, Shelly, Saban, and Kushida all together. I'm super excited for that team up. Super excited. But, well, Chris, I appreciate you joining us tonight, man.
Man. Dude, it was my pleasure.
Our show's kind of crazy. We just kind of talk of whatever comes at us as far as wrestling.
That's how it should be, man. Just like a wrestling match. Whatever happens.
That's kind of the show I like to do. Like, I have my news points that I feel like need to be hit, but I just like to flow with whatever is going on in wrestling. And right now, what's going on in wrestling is crazy shit.
Always, though.
Always. Tell everybody where they can find you normally. Tell them about ASAP.
Well, I'm on the ASAP Network. On Wednesdays at 9 Central, I do the ASAP Wrestle Hour. Fridays, I am one of like the creators of NBA Fast Break. Same time, Friday, 9 Central, on the ASAP Network. Please stop by, check me out if you like basketball or wrestling. I'm your guy.
All right, Chris. Well, we appreciate it, man. Guys, thank y'all for joining us tonight, and y'all have a great week, and we'll see y'all next week. Mr. Morgan will be back, and we're going to get Chris back and do all three of us very soon.
Please do. Please do.
Because the three of us together are crazy. All right, guys, y'all have a great week, and go enjoy some wrestling.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.